everybody, what's up? It's Jordan from Pianote here. We're teaching a new song every Friday on YouTube. This week we have Hey Jude by the Beatles. This is a great piano, rock and roll kind of ballad thing. So let's dive right into it. The first thing to learn about it is what key it's in. So it's in the key of F. So that means that there's really only one black key that you got to worry about for the bulk of the song, not including that outro. But that black key that we have to worry about for the main part of the song is just going to be B flat. So, and there's also one other aspect about the song that's really helpful to know moving forward, and that's sort of just the general right hand, left hand pattern that's used for it. So I'm just going to play the first verse chords and just pay attention to how my right and left hands are working together. So that gives you all you need to know right there, just popping back from the two chords to the second chord of the song. So it's almost like this little, it's almost like an oompa kind of thing. It's a chord, it's a chord, note, chord, note, chord, note, chord, note, chord, note, chord, note. So all we're doing is we're playing our triads in the right hand, and then we're just playing octaves in the bass, and generally speaking, all I'm doing is I'm just leaving my bottom note held down, and I'm just playing in time with the octave with my thumb. So that works throughout the whole progression of both the verse and the chorus. So let's just look at what the verse is really quick here. So the verse starts off on F. Then we go to C, and then our next chord is kind of there's an interesting little jump to get to our next one. So we take our C position here and we kind of push up to get to our next kind of chord that we land on, which is going to be, it's almost like a G minor 7 chord. So we have a G, a B flat, and an F. But the way we get to it is like this. So we're starting on our C, and we kind of walk up from our G note to our B flat. So we go. So that motion one more time. So F to the C. And then back to F. So I'll play that one more time. To the C. There's this little walk up. And then we land back on an F chord, but this time I'm one inversion up. So I start off the whole song and the whole verse progression with just this F in root position. And then we go to our C in first inversion. We do that little walk up. And then we finish the phrase with an F chord up high. The final half of the verse then moves on to a B flat chord, to an F, back in root position, then to a C, back to F. So I'll demo this along to the track at performance tempo. Okay, so that's the track at performance tempo. Now, I know that this part here is kind of a sticking point for a lot of players, so let's slow it right down, and we're going to play this whole part again to the track, but this time it's going to be a lot slower, and just pay attention to how you're moving to get to that G7 chord, because it's kind of a cool little feature in the song. All right, so that's the verse progression. Now let's move on to the chorus. Again, the chorus is using that same sort of pattern. So I'll just play the chorus really quickly and then we'll demo what's all going on there. Okay, so there's a lot of cool movement happening here. Let's just look at what the right hand's doing. So the right hand starts off, kind of leads into the chorus, landing on this F7 chord. So I'm starting in my F in second inversion, so I got A, C, F, and then I'm doing this kind of quick little passing tone, which is actually, if you really, you know, it all comes down to it just being an A minor chord. And it finally lands on the E flat. So all I'm really doing is taking my top note and moving chromatically down. Da, 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 da. And then this is our familiar B flat chord. And now I'm just doing a couple subtle movements to reflect these chord changes. So I'm going from my B flat chord, and then I'm moving my B flat down one semitone to make to play an A, and this effectively makes a D minor chord. So we have a F, A, and D, and then bass clef is just A. So really all the bass clef is doing is just walking down the F major scale, starting on B flat here. So this is a G minor chord, G, B flat, D. Bass clef is just playing straight G here. Then we just go down to an F major chord. And then we play a C chord in first inversion. And the bass clef, rather than going to the C in root, rather than actually playing C in the bass, before we do that, we actually play the E in the bass. So it's got this kind of cool, and then we go down to play C. And then we land back on F. So I'll play this whole thing in sequence here. B flat, to D minor, to G minor, to F major, to C, and then to C with the C in the bass, and then F. One more time. Okay, so let's try that to the backing track now, and just follow along with me. All right, so that's the chorus to the backing track. Now, before we slow it down, I want to really quickly go over what's happening at the end of that chorus, because there's kind of a little transitional thing that sounds like this. So it's kind of like a little bluesy riff taken in two parts. So we can go. Now here we go. So the start of that riff, we're kind of just pedaling on F. And then we're playing this cool blues lick. So we're starting in F major triad, then we're popping up to our B flat triad in second inversion, and then we're landing on the F7 chord. So it's this one kind of motion. And then we have a little sort of extension where now we're in C, so we're popping up and we're playing. It's kind of like taking that little melody motion, and then we're like harmonizing on top of it. So that whole thing one more time. So that's what transitions out of the chorus back into the other verses. So now let's revisit that chorus at the slower tempo and listen out for that transition part and try to follow along. All right, so there's the verse, and there's the chorus, and there's that transitional part. The only final thing that remains with this song is the outro. And the outro is probably the funnest part of the song to play, in my opinion. It's also the easiest and like the longest, so you got plenty of mileage with it. It only consists of 3 chords. So we have our 1 chord, just classic F major. And then we have an E flat major chord. And then we got our 4 chord, which is going to be B flat. Hey Jude. So it's just a 3 chord vamp. with kind of this bluesy vamp thing that you can use all sorts of cool tricks on. I don't necessarily think you need to follow along verbatim with the track itself because there's so much opportunity to just jam out on it. You can use the blues scale, the F minor sort of pentatonic blues. You can mess around with the rhythms of it. You can sort of ape the vocal melody line like what I was doing. All sorts of stuff with it. Or if you want to keep it simple, you can just play straight. Just to get the timing down, because that's always really cool too, and you won't be stepping on anyone's toes. Perfectly safe, viable option. So let's try that section along to the performance tempo with the track. All right, so that's the song and performance. Now let's try it one more time, nice and slowed down. All right, so that's Hey Jude in a nutshell. It's a super great song for beginners to learn, and it really exemplifies how you can take a cool set of chords and with just a little bit of creative ideas on how to transition between those chords, you can take a great set of ingredients and make a total masterpiece of a song. So practice the verse, practice the chorus, make sure you get that bluesy little transition in between the chorus and the verse nice and licked, and then just jam out on the end section. It's perfect opportunity to do it. If you want to see a video of me playing along to this track, check the video above. If you want to suggest a song for me to teach, leave a comment below. Other than that, I'm Jordan Leibel. Thanks for watching, and check us out at pianote.com.